Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have the last guest speaker, Jong-Gap Kim, the CED of Born2 Global Center. The topic is the secret to startup success. I'd like to invite Mr. Kim at the stage. Please give a big round of applause.
Thank you for long waiting. Good evening. My name is Jong-Gap Kim. I'm in charge of the Born2 Global Center. I'm going to explain a little bit about the Born2 Global Center later, but this is a government umbrella organization which is promoting innovative tech company, make them globalization. So our mission is global connection, global business development. And I'm going to briefly introduce myself. I come back to Korea as Mr. Professor Hwang already mentioned 4 years ago. I was living in the Silicon Valley the last 20 years. And I did incubating, accelerating, angel investment, sort of that kinds of startup business. At the Silicon Valley, I helping foreign startup to enter the US market. Now my position is a little changed, and I located in Korea and helping the tech company get out the Korea market, global market entry. So this is my experience, and fortunately, I got the MS degree in the Seoul National University, and so I can say I'm also the alumni. But so many people talk to me like a Dr. Kim, but actually I'm not doctor. I finished the course, but I didn't get a degree. So my major was finance at the graduate school in Vanderbilt. But at the time, it's 1997, 6, 8, it's a startup boom up. So my major was finance and valuation. So I learned the startup at the time, and I did my own startup in 1998. So I quit my study. I like the business more than study. So I changed my career from the academic to the business area. So do not call me Dr. Kim. And it's a prologue. So many people talk about the Silicon Valley, and so people introduce our organization like in Korea Silicon Valley, in Pangyo, sort of thing. So Silicon Valley is all nationwide startups' dream. They want to put the flag on the Silicon Valley and having the success. So I just make some one-to-one scale. What's the Silicon Valley? This is UC Berkeley in San Francisco. I think this is it's called Golden Gate. Yeah, Golden Gate. And this is we call it Silicon Valley. I was living the Saratoga, and my company was in San Jose, like nearby Cisco, and this distance like from San Francisco to the San Jose, the same as Pyeongtaek to Uijeong, and the width is like similar like Icheon to Incheon Airport. So not big size, but this is a single cluster. We are not dividing sector by sector. We call this is Silicon Valley. But Korea, the same size of the area, but Pangyo, Seoul, and Seoul, Incheon, and Sangam, so many clusters located. So it might just a little bit summarize. In this same area, we have a 40,000 startup, and about 400 venture capital doing the business in this area. They invest yearly about $20 billion to the $40 billion, depends on year by year. Average like $40 billion they invest on the early stage of startup. In Korea, not just nationwide, but this amount of area, we have around about 20,000 startup, and we put the $5 billion early stage investment. That's the concept. What's difference? And I think so many gentlemen, I think you are one of the leader of your own country. I think that all countries try to copy and develop another Silicon Valley in their own country. But think about that. The size and the capacity and the the outcome of the company is totally different game. So the main reason I come back to Korea and set up the Born2 Global is I want to make this area like a Silicon Valley. Means I'm not copying the Silicon Valley, but as a second follower or third follower, we don't have any place to go there without except Silicon Valley. But Silicon Valley is a very high competitive area, so not that many opportunity open to the all startup from the global world. So I want to set up, especially based on this CM campus, that kinds of another mingle area to the global startup, global tech company. They come together here and they develop something good idea, good product, and they compete or complement the Silicon Valley as a maker some platform or system and share the all global people. That's my motivation to come here. And first, I put the micro tech business as like the microeconomic, macroeconomic. I was watching all fluctuation from the 1998 to the 2015 at the Silicon Valley. What's the main reason to booming up or goes down or collapse or disruptive idea? How come they develop destructive ideas, something like that? But there's two parts. Micro area is like a people, player, ecosystem, how they engaging each other, and how they develop the idea, how they collaborate. So I put this as a micro, and a macro is like a strategic viewpoint. How we collaborate different country, different market people, how we converge different sector by sector. So I'm gonna explain a little bit about the micro area, like how we develop the product, or how we engage in the finance, or how we marketing, something like that, and the people management. And then later on, I'm gonna a little bit showing some example of the macro side, how as a Born2 Global, how we work other country to helping the startup globalization, especially under the COVID-19, how we can overcome the pandemic situation. Before I proceed my presentation, I'm going to show this presentation. This is a Bloomberg 2019 Innovation Index. This is Startup Innovation Index. So Korea is ranked first, and it's been like a 60-year consecutive first. It was not changing. So it's a very proud presentation. Korea is number one on the innovation area. But the reason I present this slide first is, for me, it's a shame. So ridiculous. 60 years consecutive first rank, Korea, innovation. But in the business area, nothing. Even the single startup's brand name is not globalized yet, except Samsung or Hyundai. Or somebody told me that Naver, but Naver is not globalized yet. They just penetrate Japan market. Now they are ready to expand their business to Southeast Asia market. That's all. They never been into the United States. They never been into the Europe. So this is our, the portrait. Thus, I'm gonna talk starting from here, because this is the engineering school of the Seoul National University. Everybody talk about engineering, everybody talk about technology, everybody talk about the R&D, but it's not enough to do the business in the global market. So what's the main key word to the success in the global market as a tech business or startup? That's the main are the context of today's presentation. So this is a one way. I put the one way, but a normal way. When you start your own startup, typically engineer initiate that. So I got a good idea. I have some skill to develop something new IoT sensor or new radar sensor, something like that. Then he makes some team and asking some money, like angel money or father and mother's money, or friend money, family money, whatever. And they study, develop the product. After they develop the product, they go to the customer. It means marketing and sales. And then, luckily, they have a hit the market and success, but it's less than 0.1%. 99.9% they fail. Then they close down first version number 1, and then coming back, do again, version 2, version 3, version 4. This is the typical way of the old paradigm, I said. Yeah. And still, so far, so many people doing like this, especially engineering school. They never work with the other areas people. They study by their own, the ego or domain area first. And then while they develop the product, the bottom line, R&D, prototype, manufacturing, sales and marketing, and then they do the market study. Why we fail? They study. And reflect their study, do again. This loop is a person up. But I found out in the Silicon Valley, new way. What if the other way? Somebody saw the customer's pain or problem. You hear about a lot, pain problem solving. Starting from the customer side, and they think about idea about the hypothetical, the product. And then he makes some team and asking money or hire or the hire the technology. This is the different way of the process. And then the bottom line, I summarize like this: how they develop the product from the R&D stage. They already market study, prototype, working with the market study. Every stage they working with the market study. It means market, demand, customer, client, whatever we talk about that, they getting the feedback from the market. And then they changing little by little about their prototype. Before the manufacturing, they get out to go to the market and they getting feedback and reflect the feedback, they develop the manufacturing. So it's a very low probability to fail. And then they don't have that much version 10 or version 100, version 99. They have a maybe version 2 or 3. So this is a different type of approach to do the startup. So I emphasize whenever I pitching opportunity to different university, please do not study your team first. Starting point should be a customer. Then you can develop very viable and doable and profitable business model. There will be starting point, not from him. Because I'm the very high quality top engineer. I'm good at the Wi-Fi, for example. That's why I develop my own way. And then pushing the market. This is a good product. Why you don't buy me? Right? So it's a ridiculous situation. It's not going to work at the market. So this is summarized. This is a Samsung style. I said in 1997, 1998, so many Korean startups copying their system, their culture. But this is a new way of the startup point. So before you step into the startup business or tech business, you should review or checking the market area. Is that doable first? And then other team or technology you can hire or you can get it from all different areas. So this is Mr. Dr. Kim mentioned about the Cisco. When I was living in Silicon Valley, my company was a vendor of Cisco. So we developed some new prototype and getting some approval, then providing the manufacturing something. Typical process of the product concept, develop, launch, sustaining, and discontinues. No, in case of the Cisco, it took like 7 years from starting point to the end point. Then one product is gone. Now second product is keep going on. So as a one vendor, we are overlapping this space, this space, this space. 3 space always overlapping. So we can handle 5 products, 7 products altogether. Responsibility is first bullet is define market, customer, the feedback, and the sales training means training salesman to the persuading the customer, and provide customer upgrade path. If it is continuous, always first priority is concern of the customer, how we providing different paths or upgrading. And interaction is first item, everything is customer. Even the big company, they always put the first priority at the customer. And then starting to the customer pain, customer request, customer the demand, we can develop new product, new idea. So even the big company doing like that, like a Google or HP, how about the small tech business startup? I think we should follow that. This you already saw this graph a lot. This is a typical startup cycle, tech business cycle. We call this is a valley of death, and Series A, B, C, D, and the mezzanine, IPO or M&A. It's a beautiful line. So whenever I starting my own startup, even I have a very hard time, but I have a hope. Time pass by, then it can be up. So that's it's a drop, So that's why we're working hard. But result is not the same as like this beautiful graph. So always trouble. So the one of the things is I want to mention in this graph is every stage has different requirement of human skill. So from the starting age, stage, like angel and seed capital, we need entrepreneur, passion, empathy, driving, and getting some people, and excitement, sort of thing. We need that. But after, the overcome of the value of death, we need producer. We should show the real product, not idea or paper, to the market or investor. So at this time, in this period, engineering part is very important. And next is more bigger. After Series A, hardware business, you need the mass production. Software business, you need a channel. Then you need the administrator. Like an employee, 3 people, 20 people, like 50, 60, 100. Nobody can control who's going to the travel, who's in the R&D, who's in the office. So busy, not control. So this is a trap. So you need administrator as a COO. So weight of the company importance, moving from the CTO to the COO. And the last stage, we need the integrator. Now it's a huge company, like revenue-wise, $1 billion, employee-wise, 1,000 people. Then you need some integrator. So at this moment, I recommend some startup people hire Samsung ex-CEO or Google ex-CEO, something like that, who was handle big organization or big different department conflict. Then you can sustain your business. But this is a very beautiful line. But what about the reality? This is I want to share today. It's the main concept. Reality is very wiggly, ugly graph. It's not a smooth, the exponential graph. Not that many people, passing this life. So many early stage company die at this area. So value of this is way bigger than we expected. Sometimes it took 3 years to overcome, or sometimes it took 10 years. In certain hardware case, I sold it 15 years. They, struggle this wiggly, the wrinkle stage, but finally after 15 years, they got the market. They hit the market and they grow. So this is the reality. And as a young leaders, I'm the government employee. As a government employee, we try to help, new tech business or startup business. But every government, not only the Korea, but all other countries the same, I think, they focus in this area. So I put the initial enthusiasm. So like a demo day, the competition, they got to hit the idea. Then every journal, media cover their idea. They're exciting. I feel like I'm the king. That's the discipline. But after that, no support from the government. Actually, they say they are support following, this kind of big hit. But actually, they don't know how to they support. So this through of sorrow period is solely going to the responsibility of the staff. So I recommend the government people extend the support from here to here. Otherwise, they die. It's not easy. For example, PayPal. Do you hear about the pivoting? Tech business startup. They starting the business, and while they proceed their business, they change the business model or they change the product. We call this is a pivoting. In the PayPal, they actually first this product was a security product, not a payment finance product. So like a mobile device, they send a message, they protect the security, and launch the service in the market, but nobody buy for it. So for 6 weeks, they pivoting 12 times. For 6 weeks, they changed their products 12 times. And after 6 weeks, last product hit the market. That pivoting is a wrinkle. But fortunately, they go through the just 6 weeks. But after that, the company changing from the security product company to the finance, PayPal, as you know right now. So this is in the PayPal case is a very lucky case. But the normal company, it took 3 years or 5 years or 6 years. So I think I recommend the government people should reduce the period from 5 to 2 years, 3 to 1 year, or 10 to 5 years. It's a very essential and helpful to start. And then we call from this area scale up. Now in Korea, so many government announced new promotion support program like a scale up support. But I don't think they understand what's the scale of support. Scale up should be passed by the sorrow period, ugly period. But without help, it's not easy to overcome the value of best. So how we avoid the wrinkle period or wrinkle part? So I put four elements of our tech business: market, product, channel, model. Business model, product and channel, how we deliver our product to the customer. And the market, maybe you can say is customer. So first area, market to product, we call this product market fit. We should checking the fit. Is it fitable or not? So it reverse saying is the user demand this product or not? That's the right question. And then product channel fit. This product, which channel we can deliver our product effectively and very cost, driven way. And the model to channel. Our business model is working with the channel or not. And the channel model to the market, is that doable on the market, this business model or not? Or cross area. All this fit is the main process of the tech business. I'm not going to talking about the R&D business. So in this area, as a foreign startup, the global market is not easy. How we find the market, how we find the global customer, how we always market first, right? So this is the main point. If you want to promoting your own country's startup ecosystem or tech business ecosystem, I think, remember how we find global customer, global market, and how we figured it out, their demand. So I can cover all things. It can be maybe 1 month's lecture. So I'm gonna point out the product market fit today. The CB Insight announced last year, about 74% of the failure reason for startup is they produce the product which doesn't want for the customer. The customer doesn't want the product, but the startup produced the product. And I told you the former presentation, this is as is. I say clearly saying the very simple saying, Samsung style. Product develop, then market verification. So after R&D department develop the product, they could giving to the sales and marketing department with the product. SM department going to the market and try to sell the product. But unluckily it's failed, then they collect the feedback, giving to the R&D department, then R&D department changing their product. That's the process as is. And I want to emphasize new to be process. Product development through repeated market verification. So PMF, product market fit first, and then develop. Before they do the R&D, please do the PMF process first. That's this is our Born to Global's main functionality to helping the global startup. And you are familiar with the Canvas. This is very famous methodology to analyze the startup business. Out of that PMF, product market fit, focusing just two parts, value proposition and the customer segmentation. So we call customer segmentation like ideal customer profiling. If I talk to the startup, what is your customer? Then they try to figure it out exact name of the company. But I recommend profiling. What kinds of the customer profiling your ideal, is makes sense for your product or business. Then to make customers happy is the value proposition. What value proposition is doable, meaningful to that customer segmentation? I think that's the main product market fit process. So try to find out their ideal customer profiling, and based on the ideal customer profiling, they develop a new value proposition. So my technology is always fixed. It's not never changing, but depends on the customer. Our value proposition should be changing. Like children, if they talk to the father, they put their own value proposition different way. Unlikely mother. They need allowance, money. But when they talking to the father, they develop a new topic, new different way of asking some allowance. Unlikely the mother. So that's the value proposition. Depends on who's gonna customer, their value should be changing. So this is our training, and I think the tech business area people should develop that kind of sense or capability that is much easier to success. After getting some product market fit, then they should find out the channel. What delivery methodology we can use. There are some area, OEM, SI, direct sales, resale, retail, or value-added distributor. It's different type of channel existing, and it depends on their product. They have to choose, find out the right channel, then they can deliver. I'm not saying the sales deliver their product through the channel, and finally they sell their product to the last end mile customer. So I just figured out two type of group. One group is a focus and drive high dollar amount transaction. So one unit sell very high dollar, but it's very customized and focused, not just a common product like a bulk sale. In that area, then you should find out these kinds of channels. Or if your product has a volume matter, so just volume sales, not just single by single high profile sales, but lower dollar per transaction. In that case, these channels are very useful. So this is a very the systematic way approach to the finding the channel. Or you can find the channel depends on the product life cycle stage. So if your product is like early adopted period or early majority pragmatic stage or later stage, depends on your product stage, different channel can be applied to deliver your product. So this is another channel market fit or product channel fit process. And I'm just to present, this is a kind of process, how you find out the channel. It's a very complicated, the process, but nobody avoid. If you have a product in a mass production, and if you find a good customer, then you should develop your own channel program. So investigation, qualification, analysis, implementation, first stage. I put the emphasize executive review and the executive review with the budget commitment. Which area, what money involved, and which section you should focus on the evaluation or something like that. So after this channel distribution plan or figure it out which channel, now you can talk about the money there. So are you familiar LTD and CAC? So many people lifetime value, customer acquisition cost. After getting channel plan, now you can calculate your customer acquisition cost. So this is a very simple demand and supply, like an economic theory. So your lifetime value should be over the customer acquisition cost. Then this part is your profit. So how long? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Some company has the balance maybe half a year. So without the calculation, you cannot predict. You cannot make some business plan like correctly. So no venture capital invest without concrete of your evidence of this calculation. But so many early stage, I said the wiggly part is very high, the seller part area. So many company doesn't knows about or doesn't calculate this very complicated procedure. Just gut feeling. This is beautiful. This is a great my baby. That's why it can be success. Give me money, $5 million, $10 million. Nobody willing to give some money in that kind of ideation. So this is a typical process. After calculating all cost and the revenue projection, then finally you are ready to write down the MRD, market requirement document. Every company has an MRD on the different type of product. One product has one MRD, and the MRD always buzz up. So For example, the one Cisco phone, I working with the one single phone. They have a MLD version 121. Because all this configuration part is changing every day. Then they update it. So after updating, it shared all participant people, and they got the one single shoot altogether on the product. And I think this is a basic principle of the business plan. So it's very small character, but target market, competition, desire characters, or must-have characters, wanna-have characters, estimate development cost, distribution, configuration, licensing, manufacturing, packaging, maintenance, documentation, forecast, impact other product, preliminary schedule. All things do not skip any item. As a CEO or founder, you already know by yourself. If you have a missing several parts, you are not ready to launching the product. You are still in phase of R&D. After you finishing the MLD, then now you are ready to the launch. Before you launch a product, you need another tool, sales tool. You should hire a salesman. Then how they sell your product? You should give to them some tool. Tool is like this one, especially support plan, marketing plan, sales training, everything. Not only the brochure or website, but you need to develop like these kinds of package. Then you are ready. You have a sales toolkit. So with the toolkit, you hire sales rep or salesperson or channel distributor. Then give it to the tool, to the channel. They work like a sales. And then go to market. So you are familiar with go to market. Go to market, phase is a very later stage. While they develop the product to fit the market and interaction, you revise, version up, then finally you are ready to MLD. Now you go to market. Go to market means launch your product. So this is I said the very simple. So many topics I cover, but I have a 1 hour limitation. But this is one page by one page is very complicated, but very essential functionality. But out of this all micro area, just remember one thing: customer first. Even the technology development, without the customer engagement, without the customer feedback, it's useless. It's not successful on the business. Maybe it's successful on the R&D or successful in the research institution, but as a business, it's gonna fail. The second thing is a macro tech business. It's like an employment or some investment impact to the economy or a group of the bunch of the startup community. But I'm gonna tell today is very small example what I do on the macro area in the tech business. So example, we are working with the IDB, Inter-America Development Bank, for the 3 years. And I'm gonna little explain how we work together and helping the Latin American and Caribbean areas startup player. We try to help them to the globalization. So many countries, startup, they focus on domestic only. But like our name, Born Global, tech business most beneficial of the tech business is they can start global from the first day of the startup. So this gentleman is Chairman Moreno, the IDB president. He visited by chance. He visited our office, and after he going back to the Washington D.C., he sent me a letter. Could you help Latin America or Caribbean area startup people, make them globalization or main driver as a main driver of the economic promotion? Could you help the startup area? So from that time, that's the 2017 November. We worked very hard with the Latin America startup ecosystem. I traveled personally over 10 times Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is a 39-hour flight time one way. So round trip is kind of almost 78 hours, 3 days. And I'm working there 2 days, and travel is 5 days. Whole week is gone. So I travel over 10 times and travel in 9 countries of Latin America. I met all venture capitalists, startup people, or incubator, accelerator. And I found out their demand for the globalization is huge. But their technology is not that competitive with the global player, like a European startup or Silicon Valley startup. And as a Korean startup, Viewpoint, we have a very brilliant idea and a good technology, like a Seoul National University engineer. They are top in quality of engineer, but they don't know market condition. And they don't know about the market situation, market demand. It's not easy to take out. So we try to match up their demand, our supply, our demand, their supply. So first partnership, and I think the over director position, 26 IDB director visit on to Global Center. So Moreno, President Moreno, sending all directors visit the Bonto Global and the Texas of North and develop a new idea. And then we travel and study, and then finally we make some fun. To the promoting, the bilateral different regions, the ecosystem, we need some money. Money help, accelerating a lot. So I think that this August or September, finally, we're gonna launch $50 million first fund. And then now we are working with the joint venture project because of Corona. Corona, as I told Mr. So several hours ago, webinar or Zoom is very good tool, but it's very difficult engaging. More close Q&A or some present my product like a demo, it's not confident. So we developed a joint venture as under Corona-19. We make some, the cyberspace, we make some matchmaking. And if they like each other, marry, certify, then bring that, for example, Latin America startup to this campus, let's say. And we have launching. I saw the restaurant open soon. And our company here, they work together 3 months, 6 months. We can help them. Then they engage, their honeymoon is perfectly matched up, then going back to their own country. Now they work together. So otherwise, maybe we can send our Korean startup to the Latin American country once a month, twice a month, travel. But now it's impossible. And I heard about yesterday, Google announced, they initially announced next April, they opened the self-restraint at the home. But now they extend the restraint to the July. Maybe October next year. So many employees now shocked. Maybe 1 year more, they have to constrain in the house. So this is a Korea LAC joint venture project. And I thought that I bring the whole different countries startup to the CM campus. We call this is design lab. So we try to set up a design lab here. A design lab solely focusing, dedicating global startup, accelerating, helping them, and then bring some project here, different type of project like IDB, World Bank, GCF, even the country government. So we are working with the Argentina, state government like Buenos Aires. They try to work together like with the design lab, different type of project by themselves. So we put on all project here, and we provide the product market fit or proof of concept with the very high quality caliber or Seoul National University engineering professor work together. even though you're a student, they can participate, and we prove it. Yeah, it's doable. This product is doable, and it fits the market demand. Then, all together, we go to the global business. So not only the Korea or Latin America, but my goal is go to the United States. This is all different countries' startups' dream. So I want to make their dream come true. So this is a very simple version, but still we are working in the organization and the different type of the curriculum, something. Luckily, Mr. Huang promised the lodging cost is very low. And this is our process, like a design lab initiating company sourcing, not only the Korean company, but the all global company, which can fit the project. So, for example, the GCF, asking the e-mobility project. Then we try to sourcing related to e-mobility industry from the Korea or other country, and the match up. So matching process, and we providing the PMF POC with the joint venture partners, and then they do the business work together. So this is a very simple version. So I hope it's a very mutual benefit from 2 reasons, maybe 3 reasons. It's okay. And now we're starting very small project, $2 million project with IDB already. So maybe we can show at the end of this year how we achieve and what kinds of company work together, and how we avoid Corona-19 pandemic situation through this process. And the Foreign Affairs Ministry, they recently allow us, if the Born to Global asking, they can waive the self-restraint 14 days. For that, the people, we invited people. So it's much more confident to do the big program here. And what's the Born to Global is, as I told you, is under the Ministry of Science and ICT. And we are nothing but the global business. So I don't know about domestic business, I don't know about Hyundai, Samsung, but we have over 350 global partners. They working with us, like Continental is one of our partners. It's a tire company, but recently they working with the new smart city or smart healthcare area. So we try to providing good qualified smart city or smart healthcare company to the Continental. They do POC on behalf of the Born to Global with the company, like a Bayer or Renault. So this is our sample, our partnership. But not only the private company, but also the government body or some MDB or other organization, we always welcome to helping the startup to the globalization. So we have located in Pangyo, but I hope from September we are locating this building. I think that somebody told me it's a 6th floor. Then we are operating more project-oriented and tech business-oriented business here. So our this process, we have just 30 people, small organization, but all 30 people, we can speak 5 languages, it's very freely. And our company main language is English. So when you visit our website, no Korean. That's why ministry people always trouble with us. Well, our report always English, auditing by English in Korea. It's not easy, but for the last 5 years we persuading them, and now finally congressmen also accept our English policy. And we have expertise on the legal attorney, patent attorney, and global CPA certified people, the marketing people in-house. So we providing these, the legal and patent and account service daily basis, anybody. And if they need some local partner, like India legal contract, then we hire India legal firm or Malaysia legal firm. Then we pay for it 80%. because we are run by government. We have subsidized. So this is our promotion way. Yearly, we select 100 company, different sector, include the bio. And competition like 25 to 1. It's very high competition. And we travel. Last year, I traveled 6 months. 6 months Korea, 6 months, different country. But this year, wow, it's very comfortable. I cannot travel. So anyhow, our mission is a globalization and to connect the startup to startup nationwide and to bring them in or sending them out, whatever. Especially, we try to focus on the developing country recently and work together and get out from the developed status to the developed country. Our simple metrics is so far we've been inducing the global investment about $600 million. So yesterday, one of our client company having some $41 million in Silicon Valley. So this is another big news. Even the pandemic, still investment going on. And this is a overseas corporation 81 case. It's not easy. I cannot push the company overseas incorporation. They should accept. To make this overseas corporation, we try minimum 2 or 3 years support. And checking the fit, market fit, product fit, channel fit, everything fit is okay. Then CEO moving to the incorporation in the foreign country. So even the small number, but it's very huge challenge as a public organization, especially patent. So this is a very simple explanation of our work. So I hope from today we work more closely with different country, different program, and I can see you every day from September here in Seoul campus. Thank you.
So we have a time for Q&A for a couple of things. Do you have any?
Anyway, thank you very much for the presentation. I guess the micro tech business was quite helpful for us that we're from developing countries. I guess it's something that will really help us. My question is, for almost all your presentation, you kept sticking to products. My question is, now there is a bit of a demarcation between products and services. Can we actually take this model and fit it into services? Is it possible for it to work?
Yes, service and product, I think the same. So I put I cannot, like a market, I can say customer, client, or demand, market, the similarity of the concept. The product, maybe it can be hardware, software, service, system, but all this, the area, it can be applied. It's not exception, I think.
Thank you for your presentation. I have questions regarding the market search. I found it really interesting that the majority reason why most startup fails is not they're doing the market research, and I think they're not dumb, because doing a lean startup is a really famous and widespread approach in doing their own business. And what I'm thinking about is how can we really do market search at the very early stage of startup, because it is really hard to find out the appropriate customers, potential customers who can give a right advice for the startup members. So in that regard, can you give us some advice for that?
Yes. It's very difficult process. And as an early stage of startup, it's not easy to taking the market demand directly. There's two ways of the rule. One is just get out the street, asking some people, do you like it? Or how much are you willing to buy it? Something like that. But not that many people do that, actually. they thought, but the execution is different. But actually, you should do that. If you have not enough the resource or money or team member, just do your parent, do your sibling, do your friend or professor, whatever. But point is, you should ask concrete feedback. You should not try to sell your product, sell your idea. It's totally different. For example, if normal people, if I tell you, do you like this pen? 99% of people, they said, yeah, it's okay. What do you mean it's okay? But this is my baby. As a parent, it's okay. It's wow, they like it. It's not negative response, but it's okay. It's negative response. Then what if I ask you, not this pen, do you like this clip? Then answer should be different. I don't like the wiggly. I don't like the soccer thing. I like the your design something. So asking technique is totally different. But as an engineer, very straight talk. So they always approach the customer, not always, about 70%, and try to sell, explain what an amazing feature, amazing functionality, what they develop. Then the potential customer will train. I'm not gonna buy it right now. I don't have money, but everything is it's okay. It's okay. As possible as I quit. This is a very uncomfortable process. So we make the training, the startup, how you asking or getting feedback from the survey or asking. It's a very art, like a psychological game. Does that make sense?
Thank you so much for a very nice presentation. As your experience, you explained a lot in terms of maintaining this startup from the initial stage, from the scratch. Basically, we've seen some of our countries trying to make sure that they have these initiatives, and at the end they improve the country's economy, and at the end, or at large, the global economy. And some of the startups, they'll start initially well, they grow, they graduate until they become independent companies. But it will reach a point whereby, because we normally know consumer demands are very dynamic, we find the same company which are now independent, they fail in the market. As per your experience, what kind of advice would you like to offer to most of the government which really they like to support these initiatives? Thank you.
Very difficult question. But first, the government people should understand this process. In Korea, it took 3 years to make understanding product market fit. First paper I remember, 2018, I proposed new program. We need a product market fit in the global area. Everybody rejected. What's this? Product market fit. Translate Korean. So I said, there's no Korean. 제품, 시장, 붕합. 제품, 시장, 정합. It's not feeling like product market fit. In Korean translation, it's not delivered some feeling or nuance of the product market fit. So now we totally create different terminology. Global 고객 찾기. Now they understand. So first persuading the government officer, it took 2 years. Now they freely say in any place product market fit. We need a product market fit, and they put the money on that support. So now after 3 years later, we can spend for one time product market fit cycle. It takes 3 months. $10,000 for each company. It's enough for different market. China market, Malaysia market, United States. Different market, we need a different PML again and again. So for company, we have a budget, the limitation. So 3 times allowed. Only 3 times allowed for one company. Otherwise, one company sucks all budget. So I think if they understand why we need, the market fit, then I think everybody like it.
Well, thank you. And I think as a last question from online, and so we have Mr. Ram Govinda, consultant. Ram, no, not Ram, the Roy consultant from Philippines. So he was asking, in this time of pandemic, how will the business model and the setup eventually help the government, and also especially also the private sector in this sense? So would you like to respond?
Yeah, while I present, I already emphasized the solution we developed is a joint venture in this pandemic situation. But the very very practical issue is June, the video conferencing. I invited 10 staff from Korea and 10 staff from Malaysia, for example, and 20 venture capital from Korea and Malaysia. They are not talking each other. So the monitor, the bunch of the icon, human face, like 40 people, filled it up, and the pitching company. Majority of the investors, they turn up their video. It's a black signal. And they just hear and watching, but they never show their face. So it's not interactive pitching process. So with the dumb black monitor, I just pitching myself like a crazy guy. It's not fun. It shouldn't be fun. It's not fun, and it cannot be delivered my passion, something. So our solution is divide by 2 or 3 groups. 2 or 3. One-on-one is the best performance. So we did a lot. So one-on-one, it can be a 1 hour, 2 hour talk by themselves. They never turn up video. And especially in the 20 venture capital put together, they never ask him. It's kind of pride neck to neck, pride game. So they never asking silly question. They pretending like a very professional expertise question. But on the business, there's no that kinds of question. Very simple. How much? How many customers do you have? How long will it take? It's a very silly question. So they just put it up. Quiet. So very dumb, zombie, the IR. So we experienced on that in March and February. So now, unfortunately, my staff is very struggle, but just a segmented different type of small talk series. And this is much better. Thank you.
Thank you very much for wonderful presentation. I really appreciate once again all presentation giving us insights. Before we end this seminar, Professor Jun-Seop Hwang, the Director of Global R&D Center, will give us a closing remarks. Yeah, again, please give a warm welcome to Professor Hwang.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you, especially our two speakers. So I'll call you Dan, and not Dr. O, Dan, senior. So two senior, later on we will have a senior. Actually, in our founding member meeting, as you know, we actually call each other senior and senior like that. And so, yes, this senior means man or gentleman, and senior like that. So I think, but the true man and true, so that makes us, different. Before actually I deliver some of the thanking note, we also have our founding member, who I did not introduce because he was coming late and also in the middle. And first, Dr. Hyung-tae Kim, and is also from former Alex member, currently the leader of the Smart City Organization in Korea. Yeah. So someday he will be actually delivering. Especially we are working with him on the digital twin project for this campus. So hopefully we can. And secondly, and also our founding member and one of our champion also, making us to be globalized And also we have opportunity as seniors opportunity to promote our smart city and smart campus in the United States, especially the Korea Innovation Week. And Dr. So-Hoon Seop, who is also the head of the Korean Smart World Bank office, and so let's thank you. And especially as I actually talk to you, I'd like to ask you a little bit in a word. Please come. I was going to ask him a little bit about congratulating him for me instead of thanking him as a member of our Supremacy member. So not only me, actually we were appointed as a servant to lead the organization from the Korean side, me, and for the global society. So we are the actually two members who will be organizing later on, probably after our service term, maybe this year or next year, that probably another member will be leading our Supremacy. So he's our core, actually, the servant and servant leader, and so that's why I want him to represent our Supremacy member. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Han. As always, a great pleasure to support today's first inaugural seminar on Supremacy. Congratulations. I'm sorry I was a little late today, but I'm very pleased to be here and pleased to be one of the founding members. And I hope that this is the start of something that can be maintained and expanded. And I hope that myself and also the World Bank can be a big part of this, and I would like to be a big part of it because I see that mutually this is a win-win situation for all of us, for Korea, for the World Bank office in Korea, and also for the World Bank, and finally, of course, for global development and to support developing countries everywhere. I think today's lecture was one good example of how we can think about collaborating and partnering with each other to support startups and startup ecosystems, and not only in Latin America, but all over the world. And this is a key to promoting innovation, and that in turn for promoting growth, and that will help everyone, including those of us suffering through the post-COVID-19 pandemic. This is, I think, key to the recovery. So I'm very happy to be here again to support this endeavor. Thank you.
I think Dr. So will be delivering his also speech on September. And some of you may remember he was our also first speaker, like Dr. Kim, in our G-Talk, GRC talk. So we have actually two main very important knowledge sharing activity. One in Kwanak campus is what we call GRC talk. So he and also many of the very kind of leaders in global organization has been actually visiting our GRC or our Kwanak campus, and that was GRC talk. And the one we will be actually doing knowledge sharing. Also, it's an international, global, which is Shupin seminar, which will be in Seoul. So you can say G in Kwanak and S, Supremacy, in Seoul. Okay, so same acronym. So I think probably then, many of you know, okay, so you can actually, our member will be also probably going to Kwanak later on, and then G-Talk and global GRC talk. So also, thank you very much. And also, we have also many, like senior, Kim Jong-gap actually represented Kwanak, Pangyo, Silicon Valley. Actually, Born to Global has been actually identified one of the innovation district or ecosystem builder, especially in Pangyo Valley from the beginning. That was the plan. And I have also very special friends of mine from Pangyo Valley, Sophia and her husband. Would you please stand? So I think we just see each other after 10 years, right? More than 10 years, but we would be able to connect each other because of this Supremacy. And one of our, Dr. Park Young-sun, relate me to, and I've been actually a friend and colleague in the church. She has been, and she works very frontally and globally, and so. But thank you, Sophia, and also, I agree. Someday I hope you can share with kind of also fund your life. Okay, thank you very much. And finally, we have actually kind of more than 100 attendees. From here more than 50, and from more than 50, from our YouTube, attendance. So I believe it's a very successful. We make more than 22 digit of, and hopefully we can have on our global level later on 3 digit or beat the 3 digit. So turning to 1,000 in IOGS TV. So in the conference level, our vision is having 1,000 member, which will be in October. But I'd like to also give a very special thanks to my alumni and friends, and also Dr. Dean Chow was there, and also our alumni were in SNU. Maybe you may know Dr. Shishil, who is currently in Australia, but originally from Nepal. Dr. Ram Govinda from Nepal has been there, and especially Dr. Shishil was asking, Dr. Kim Yong-hwan, about, you to be also related with their, submitting for their, the healthcare system in Australia. And so I think they are very well connected with technology commercialization, the campus he is working on. And also from Myanmar, and Ms. Kinwes Lam, and she will actually join the PhD program, but attended. And also Dr. Boris Sen is one of our first generation in the PhD, working in the United States, but originally from Cambodia. And also Mr. Manos, who is our master graduate from Greece, and so also the Roy, Philippines, as Dr. Sergio from Colombia, and Slavina from Bulgaria, and Patrick from Nigeria, Emily from Philippines, Jamshid, Dr. Jamshid from Uzbekistan, from Dr. Irfan from Indonesia, the professor of the university, and Dr. Emdin Singh from Bangladesh, and also from Korea, the Baek Sang-hyun Global Social Responsibility Centers, Global South. So more than 10 countries attended, and then including our attendees here, probably I think we have more than already 20 countries represented. So I first of all thank all the attendees and all the audience today. So I'd like to give you an announcement. I think after this one, I think the people who are going to Kwanak will have the shuttle bus going back to Kwanak. So next announcement is actually the second Shipri Mass will be in the same time on Tuesday on the 25th of August. So before the new semester comes on this same room, Dean Chabukon, who is the Dean of College of Seoul University, and also Professor Lee Jang-gyu, honorary professor from our College of Engineering Seoul will give a delivery on probably from my aspect, they are truly the leader in educational reform and educational leader, and so global aspect. So I think how the education should go as a school, as a Supreme school, and so probably they will give us the. Certainly, as I shared with you, a long time, 4th Industrial Revolution education need a new way of teaching, and new way of scholar, and new way of schooling. We don't know right direction all at once, but our effort of being together and sharing the knowledge and experience and idea will probably lead us to be there at some moment. I hope I have a very strong faith and trust because of your also effort and cooperation. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening, and look forward to seeing you in August. Thank you. Thank you very much.